Today we're going to talk about exposure to harmful plants and critters. And when I talk about critters, I'm talking about snakes or anything that's going to bite or sting you. Let's start off by talking about ticks. If you have a tick on you, you need to immediately remove it. If it's stuck down, you're going to use tweezers, grasping it as close to the skin as possible and pull it off. You're going to disinfect the bitten area immediately and wash your hands. If a bullseye rash or any other symptoms develop, you're going to want to seek medical attention promptly. Ticks can carry illness like Lyme disease or Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And with Lyme disease, you're going to have symptoms like tiredness, stiff neck, fever, muscle aches, joint pain, and you're going to have a circular rash that looks like a bullseye, like this one over here. Rocky Mountain spotted fever, you're going to have symptoms like a sudden fever, headache, possible rash around your ankles and wrists. And here is a picture of someone with an ankle rash. It shows it over time. And if you have been bitten by a tick and you start having these symptoms, you're going to want to seek medical attention. We have bees and wasps, and sometimes you see something flying around. You can't tell, is it going to sting me? Is it a fly? Is it a wasp? Here is something that's helps you decide what it is. So some flies are going to mimic the appearance of bees and wasps. If you see short, stubby antennae or really large eyes on the front rather than the sides of the face, you're looking at a fly. If you get a close look at this, whatever's flying around you, you're also going to notice if they have wings, and if it's got 2 wings, it's going to be a fly. If it's got 4 wings, it's going to be bees and wasps. So here's a close-up picture of a bee and a wasp. They have long antennae and 4 wings, 2 on each side. And over here, if you can see these little pictures, these are flies. There's a stubby antenna, and there's 2 wings. There's another one, stubby antenna, and a wing on each side, just 2 wings. Bug bites and stings, for the most part, are kind of annoying, but basically harmless. Occasionally, an insect bite or sting can cause serious problems to people that have an allergic reaction to them, or a severe allergic reaction to them. So you should know when a simple ice pack can bring some relief, or when you need to visit a clinic or a hospital. So when you get stung by a bee, it's going to cause an immune response. And you can have a localized allergic reaction, and you'll have swelling, heat around the area where you were bit or stung, and you'll have itching around the area where you were bit or stung. And if you're having a systematic allergic reaction, which that means the venom is causing a reaction throughout your body, that's a severe allergic reaction, you're going to have symptoms like you're going to break out in hives, you're going to have wheezing, shortness of breath, rapid heartbeat, you could feel faint, you're going to have swelling of the face, lips, throat, or tongue. And if that happens, that's usually a sign that your airway is probably going to start swelling and you need to get to a hospital quickly. We also have mosquitoes, and they can be found anywhere people, food, or pools of water can be found. Generally, there's nothing to worry about. They bite you, you itch, end of story. But sometimes infected mosquitoes can give people diseases like West Nile virus. We heard about West Nile virus in the news a few years ago. The good news is that most people, especially healthy people under 50, who get West Nile virus do not have any symptoms from it, and less than 1% of people infected become seriously ill. We also have spider bites, and you can have a minor spider bite, or you can have a lot of swelling and have an allergic reaction. Usually a brown recluse and a black widow are going to be more dangerous. If you think you've been bitten by one of those, you're going to want to see a doctor and get treatment pretty quick. Even a low-risk spider, in this chart it's showing the different levels of risk and how painful their bites are. Some people can have a pretty bad allergic reaction even to a low-risk spider. You just need to get treatment as soon as you can. Black widow spiders have a shiny black body and an orange-red hourglass shape on their underbelly. Here's a close-up picture of one of those. And brown recluse spiders are brown with a small violin-shaped area on its back. Their bites usually don't hurt at first, and most people don't even know they've been bitten until it's too late. And there is that violin shape there on it. We also have fire ants, and they bite and sting. They are aggressive when stinging and injecting venom, which causes a burning sensation, and then it'll form red bumps at the site of the sting. You need to seek immediate medical attention if a sting causes severe chest pain, nausea, severe sweating, loss of breath, serious swelling, or slurred speech. And here's a picture of an ant mound, and they're everywhere, it seems like. They pop up before you know it, and you're on top of one and don't realize it until you feel the burning from the sting. So you just got to be careful and watch where you're going. Now, how do we prevent the bug bites and stings? Well, you can use repellent. Just follow the instructions. Don't overuse it. If you're using more than what you need, it's not giving you any extra protection. And if you're going to use sunscreen and repellent at the same time, you're going to apply the sunscreen first and the repellent second. And if you are sweating a lot or doing some kind of work where you're getting wet, you're going to want to reapply that every so often. And do not disturb bee or wasp nests. And as hard as it is to do this, don't swat at buzzing insects, because that will make them feel threatened, and that's going to make them want to sting you. Remove standing water from bird baths, buckets, etc. Try to stay inside when mosquitoes are most active, which that's around dusk and dawn. And wear insect repellent when outside. When in tick country, stay in the center of a trail and avoid woody areas with high grass. Check yourself for ticks every few hours. Remove any you find immediately, and then shower as soon as you come inside. And you could wear light colored clothes and long sleeves and pants. And if you tuck your pants into your socks, your shirts into your pants, and your sleeves into your gloves, you don't have a lot of exposed skin to get bit or stung. We also have poisonous snakes. Mostly in our area we have rattlesnakes, cottonmouths, and copperheads. So you should leave snakes alone. Watch where you put your hands and feet. And use good judgment when you're out in a snaky area. And if you have snake leggings or snake boots, you should wear those. And if the snake looks dead, don't bother them. They may be plain dead. 2/3 of people bitten saw the snake before being bitten, but attempted to kill, collect, or harass it. And if you are bit by one of these snakes, you need to get medical attention quickly. Now we're going to talk about the harmful plants. And when I talk about harmful plants, I'm talking about something that's going to make you have an allergic reaction, which in our area, that's going to be poison ivy or poison oak. Poison ivy can grow as a vine or small shrub trailing along the ground or climbing on low plants, trees, and poles. Each leaf usually has 3 leaflets with small or toothed edges. Leaves are reddish in spring, green in summer, and yellow, orange, or red in the fall. And they could have a greenish-white flower or berry growing on them. So I try to put a picture of some different examples. So this is a fall poison ivy vine. And here are some of the berries and some of the flowers. And this would be a summer. We also have poison oak. Poison ivy and poison oak look a lot alike. Poison oak has leaves that are going to look more like an oak tree leaf. They grow as a low shrub in tall clumps or long vines. Leaves in clusters of 3, just like poison ivy. But these leaves are going to be lobed or deeply toothed with rounded tips. And a lot of times poison oak leaves are going to have a smooth hair underneath. And they can also produce the berries or the flowers. And I put a picture, there's the flowers and there's some of the leaves that look more oak leaf. And this is the roots where it looks like it's dried up, there's nothing there, but that still has poison ivy, the oil from it in there, and can break you out. You can have a reaction from it. Even though it looks like it's dead, it's not. We're going to watch a short video on poison ivy and poison oak.
Oh, summer should be about music fests, not scratch fests. Here are 4 tips to outsmart poison ivy and other poisonous plants. Tip 1. Know what they look like so you can avoid them. For poison ivy, look for 3 glossy leaflets with smooth or toothed edges. Leaves are reddish in spring, green in summer, and yellow, orange, or red in fall. It can grow as a vine or small shrub, trailing along the ground or climbing on low plants, trees, and poles. It may have greenish-white flowers and whitish-yellow berries. It can be found throughout the United States except for Alaska, Hawaii, and parts of the West Coast. Poison oak has fuzzy green leaves in clusters of 3 and are lobed or deeply toothed with rounded tips. It may have yellow-white berries. It grows as a low shrub in the eastern and southern United States and in tall clumps or long vines on the Pacific coast. Poison sumac has clusters of 7 to 13 smooth-edged leaflets. Leaves are orange in spring, green in summer, and yellow-orange or red in fall. It may have yellow-greenish flowers and whitish-green fruits that hang in loose clusters. It can grow as a tall shrub or small tree in bogs or swamps in the Northeast, Midwest, or parts of the Southeast. Tip number 2. Poison plants contain urushiol oil. If urushiol gets on you and you're allergic, it can cause a rash, blisters, and itching. Wash your garden tools and gloves regularly. If you think you may be working around poison ivy, cover up. Wear long sleeves, long pants tucked into boots, and impermeable gloves, and wash those clothes when you're done. Tip number 3. Wash your pet if it may have brushed up against or rolled in poison ivy, oak, or sumac. Use pet shampoo and water while wearing rubber or dishwashing gloves. Most pets are not sensitive to poison ivy, but the oil can stick to their fur and cause a reaction in someone who pets them. Tip number 4. Wash your skin in soap and cool water as soon as possible if you come in contact with a poisonous plant. The sooner you cleanse the skin, the greater the chance that you can remove the plant oil or help prevent further spread. Here's a quick recap. Have a scratch-free summer.
All right, so some tips for preventing poison ivy and poison oak. You need to learn what poison ivy and poison oak plants look like so you can avoid them. Wash your tools and gloves regularly. Wear long sleeves, long pants, and gloves. Wash your skin in soap and cool water as soon as possible if you come in contact with poison ivy or poison oak. The sooner you cleanse the skin, the greater the chance that you can remove the plant oil and help prevent future spread. And if you're out where there's no soap and water, if you have some kind of sanitizing wipe with alcohol in it, you can wipe with those, or maybe in a first aid kit, have an alcohol wipe. You can wipe with those. Use topical products like Ivy Block if you know you'll come in contact with poison ivy. A lot of times you don't know until it's too late though. And some tips for treatment. Don't scratch the blisters. Bacteria from under your fingernails can get into the blisters and cause an infection. The rash, blisters, and itch normally disappear in several weeks without any treatment, but you can relieve the itch by using a wet compress or soaking in a cool bath water. Some people add oatmeal or baking soda. They say that helps. You can also apply an over-the-counter topical medicine like hydrocortisone cream or an antihistamine cream and calamine lotion. A poison ivy rash is not contagious, so rash it cannot be spread from person to person. The oil can be stuck to clothing, pets, tools, and other items that have come in contact with the plants. And that's how it gets transferred to you again or to someone else. The plant oil can linger on virtually any surface until it's washed off with water or rubbing alcohol. And sometimes those oils can actually last on a surface for 1 to 5 years if they haven't been cleaned. So if you put your tools up in the summer and don't use it again for a year, there's a chance it could still have that plant oil on it, and you could be exposed to the poison ivy or poison oak. The rash will only occur where the plant oil has touched the skin, so a person with poison ivy can't spread it on the body by scratching. Even if blisters break, the fluid in the blister is not plant oil and cannot further spread the rash. And I know I grew up believing that. I think my mom told me if you scratch, it will spread. And that's not the case. And different people can have different reactions where I may get a blister or two and it's done. Someone else's body may have a different reaction to it and they may break out all over. If you have any questions or comments, you can email me, MEggleston@nlrw.com, or stop by the lab and I'll try to answer them for you.